A deepwater rig burns $500,000 a day. But the real economy happens in a 10 by 12 room selling Snickers. We are talking about offshore platforms and drill ships, the ones stationed in the Gulf of Mexico, the North Sea, deepwater basins off Brazil and West Africa. A typical deepwater drill ship carries 120 to 160 people. Most work rotations run 14 days on and 14 days off, though some go 21 and 21, and a few remote locations push to 28 and 28. 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, no days off during your rotation, and they are not going anywhere. This is not a ship passing through. It is a stationary industrial city floating 150 miles from shore, and every city needs a store. Here's why. You work a 12-hour shift in an environment where a forgotten tube of toothpaste or a craving for a specific candy bar cannot be solved by running to a corner store. You are locked in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes longer if weather delays the crew change. The industry figured out decades ago that morale, retention, and safety improve when people have access to small comforts. Duty-free pricing on certain items is a bonus. It is not the reason the store exists. The reason is simple. You cannot keep 200 people sane without giving them something normal to hold on to. Enter the camp boss. This is the person responsible for every hotel service on board, including sleeping quarters, galley operations, laundry, entertainment, and the commissary. The camp boss orders dry food, fresh food, everything. They contact shore representatives who call wholesale suppliers. Provisions get loaded onto supply vessels in refrigerated containers. Chillers and freezers run off the boat's power during the trip out. Supply runs happen weekly, sometimes every 2 weeks, depending on weather and location. Steaks, shampoo, toilet paper, energy drinks, it all arrives in the same cold chain. One delay, one hurricane, and 200 people are eating freeze-dried backup rations. And that's just the food. The real mystery is what is in the bonded store. Bonded stores operate under duty-free rules for certain goods. Most offshore rigs sit beyond the 12-mile territorial limit, or they're in special customs zones, so they can stock cigarettes, tobacco, toiletries, soft drinks, all without local sales tax. But here's the catch. Items are typically more expensive than shore prices, not cheaper. A pack of cigarettes might drop from $12 to $8. A candy bar that costs $1 on land can be $2 or $3 offshore. The savings come from missing taxes. The markup comes from transport and handling. You are paying for the fact that someone had to helicopter it 150 miles, store it in climate control, and make sure it is there when you need it. These are not airport-style duty-free shops. We are talking about a small room, 10 by 12 feet, run by the catering crew or the camp boss. The stock is based on crew surveys before rotations. What do you want? What did you forget? What keeps you from losing your mind on day 23? Here is what is actually inside. Toiletries include toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, shaving foam, and razors. Snacks include candy bars, chips, and nuts. There are energy drinks and soda, cigarettes and tobacco, but no lighters. Bringing a lighter on board means instant dismissal. It is a fire risk. Designated smoking areas have electric lighters built into the wall, like the cigar lighter in your car. Personal items include phone chargers, headphones, magazines, and sometimes paperback books. Apparel includes extra coveralls, gloves, and casual clothing for downtime. And Crocs. Crocs are wildly popular offshore. Camouflage Crocs, football team Crocs, bright orange Crocs, and classic black Crocs are common. They are easy to slip on between shifts, easy to clean, and comfortable in the accommodations. It is one of those details that sounds trivial until you realize that comfort in small things is the difference between tolerating the job and hating it. The store also stocks the things people forgot to pack. Helicopter transfers restrict your personal baggage to 25 or 35 pounds depending on the heliport. You leave things behind. You realize on day 3 that you forgot deodorant. You pay 3 times what it costs on shore, but you pay it because the alternative is going without for the rest of your rotation. But none of this matters if you cannot pay for it. And that is where it gets interesting. Most offshore workers operate on a credit system tied to their employer accounts. You pick up a candy bar, it gets logged, and it comes out of your paycheck. Some rigs accept cash or cards, but the default is payroll deduction. The bonded store is not profit-driven. It is a retention tool. Operators price items to recover cost, plus a modest markup, knowing that a $3 Snickers bar is cheaper than losing a skilled roughneck to burnout. The same logic applies to laundry. Free and unlimited, with 24-hour turnaround on every rig in the Gulf of Mexico. You hand in dirty coveralls before your shift. They are clean and folded by the time you wake up. Clean clothes and accessible snacks are part of the invisible infrastructure that keeps 200 people functional in tight quarters for weeks. The store becomes a social anchor. Workers stop by between shifts, after safety drills, during downtime. Some rigs enforce dress codes in the galley. No tank tops, no shorts. Coveralls only, and they had better be clean. So, you swing by the locker room, change into longer pants and a light jacket, detour past the store, grab a soda, and head to dinner. The store is where you learn the unwritten rules. Do not take the last of anything without asking around. If the freezer is low on ice cream, ration it. Respect the camp boss, because they control your comfort for the next few weeks. Certain candy bars become rig-specific favorites. Crews develop brand loyalty. There are inside jokes about who hoards what. Some rigs hold informal store runs before crew change. Workers stock up on duty-free cigarettes or toiletries to bring home while staying within customs limits. It is a ritual, a small win, something to show for weeks of 12-hour shifts and no privacy. Now let's clear up the myths. Myth 1. Working offshore in international waters means you don't pay income taxes. Wrong. Contractors and employees working in United Kingdom waters or on the United Kingdom continental shelf pay the majority of United Kingdom taxes, the same as desk workers in London or Edinburgh. United States workers on Gulf of Mexico rigs pay full United States federal and state taxes. The duty-free store does not exempt your paycheck. It exempts a pack of cigarettes. Myth 2. Bonded stores are massive profit centers for operators. Also wrong. They are cost recovery operations. The goal is crew welfare, not revenue. Operators would rather you stay for another rotation than nickel and dime you on shampoo. Myth 3. You can drink alcohol on offshore rigs because they are in international waters. Absolutely not. Alcohol and non-prescription drugs are completely banned on modern offshore rigs. Zero tolerance, instant dismissal. The safety risks are too high. Heavy equipment, high pressures, explosive gases, and flammable materials. Some workers even get breathalyzed before boarding the helicopter to the rig. If you drank the night before and still have alcohol in your system, you are sent home and likely fired. The bonded store might save you money on cigarettes, but there is no bar at 150 miles offshore. So what does a 10 by 12 room full of candy bars teach us about the real cost of offshore work? A deepwater rig does burn $500,000 a day in 2024. Fuel, personnel, equipment, downtime risk. But the commissary and the bonded store represent a different kind of investment, keeping human beings mentally and physically stable in an environment designed for machines. The camp boss ordering 8,000 meals a month. The catering crew restocking toothpaste, the electric lighter in the smoking area. It is all part of the same system that prevents blowouts and manages pressure. You cannot drill safely if your crew is miserable, distracted, or fighting over the last bag of chips. The store is small, the margins are thin, the prices are not bargains. But it is the difference between a workplace and a prison. The Snickers bar costs $3 because someone had to helicopter it 150 miles, store it in a climate-controlled locker, and make sure it is there at 2 in the morning when a roughneck finishes a 12-hour shift and needs something sweet before heading to their bunk. That is the real economy of offshore work, not the day rate. The invisible cost of keeping people human in a place that does not care. If you want more deep dives like this on the logistics, the people, and the systems no one talks about, subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what is the weirdest thing you would want to buy in a bonded store 150 miles offshore? Or, if you have worked offshore, what did you stock up on before crew change?